Oh, hello, didn't see you there. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name's Anne, and if you're not so new, it's great to see you again. In my last video I showed you how to make oregano oil, and as I wanted to keep that video really short for you, I also wrote a blog with all the information you could possibly need as to why you should be making and taking oregano oil. It's got amazing magical properties, medicinal properties, it's antiviral, it's antifungal and it's antibacterial. So what I'm wanting to do in this video is show you how to make some oregano oil balm, which is great for skin conditions or insect bites, rashes, any sort of skin irritation, not, mind you, for open wounds, so please don't use it on that. It's great to keep on hand should you need it, and best of all, you know exactly what's gone into it, so there's no chemical nasties in there. All you need are 2 ingredients. I've used 60 grams of organic beeswax. I've used the pellets, as I'll show you shortly, because I find those melt down much quicker than the blocks of beeswax, and 240 ml of the oregano oil. Just realised that I'm actually going to add a 3rd ingredient in there, which is optional. I'm going to be using essential oil of oregano just to make that balm a little bit more powerful.
If you're pregnant or breastfeeding, please leave out the essential oil.
It's in a ratio of 1:4, so there is 1 part beeswax to 4 parts oregano oil. If you can hear the noise in the background, that's the oven, and in there I've got some tiny little jars that I rescued from a cafe. They contain jams, honey, that sort of thing, and I asked them to save me a few, which kindly they did, and there'll be great little receptacles to put this balm in. So let's show you how to do it. I forgot to mention it's Friday the 13th today, so what possibly could go wrong? To combine the ingredients, you need a double boiler or a bain-marie. Now I wanted to use a jug that I have that pours really well. The jug is too small for the smallest pan I have, so what I'm going to do is add one of them. I forgot what they're called. Ramekin, that's it, ramekin dish, upside down, which I'm going to rest the jug on top of. I'm going to add some boiling water. Did a little dance there. I'm going to allow it to come just to a very gentle simmer, and then I'm going to add the beeswax. And then wait for it to melt. I decided the ramekin dish was a pretty rubbish idea actually, so I took that out, and fortunately the bowl is not too small for it to sit right at the bottom of the pan, so it's still floating on the water. It's been simmering very gently for about 10 minutes now. As you can see, it's still not quite dissolved, so I'm just going to leave it a little bit longer until all that beeswax has melted down. It's taken about 15 minutes for the beeswax pellets to melt into the oil. I've taken it off the heat and allowed it to cool very slightly, not too much, otherwise it will start to solidify in the jug before I've got it into its containers. Now what I want to do is add some essential oregano oil that I'm going to add to about 15 drops. Give that a good stir in. You don't want to add the essential oil when the liquid is too hot, otherwise it'll just simply evaporate. So all that's left to do now is to pop this into the jars.
I let the balm cool to room temperature before popping it in the fridge for it to set fully. Here's a top tip for you. If you find a little hole has formed in the centre of the balm, then use a heat gun to melt the surface of the liquid, which will then run in and fill the hole, leaving you with a smooth surface. These were some rosehip oil lip balms that I also made that day, and if you're interested, I'll share the recipe with you in a future video. Whilst the balm was setting, I decided to have a play around with covering the lids to make them a little bit more personalised. I used wrapping paper, which I cut to size and glued onto the lids. tried various ways of decorating them but decided on a simple label. It's actually easier to write on the label before you apply it to the lid, but I was doing this on a whim and it was all trial and error. I tied a bow of string around the jar and faffed around for some considerable time, which actually I'm quite good at. After several attempts, I was finally happy with the bow, so I secured it onto the jar with a couple of drops of glue. And to finish them, which I've not shown here, I made a little heart shape on the non-stick backing of the label with the hot glue and sprinkled some oregano on. Whilst it was still warm, I shaped it into a more defined heart shape and then glued it to just underneath the bow. A couple of hours later, when the balm had set, it was time to give it a test. As you can imagine, the consistency felt oily to begin with, but it did eventually absorb and left my dry hands silky smooth and protected. It does smell of oregano, but remember, this is a medicinal balm rather than a cosmetic one. And just a reminder, if you are pregnant or breastfeeding, do omit the oregano essential oil as it may be harmful, and we certainly don't want that. So that's it. I do hope you've enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comments what you think, and if you're not already a subscriber, then you'd be helping out our little channel no end if you do. Oh, and don't forget to hit the bell icon to be notified of my next upload. In the meantime, take care, and I look forward to seeing you very soon. Bye for now.